Okay, but it feels so good.
Oh, it feels great. No, I'm not saying anything about that.
If that is a placebo effect, that is the best one I've ever experienced. Hey everyone, welcome to the Synergy Podcast. My name is Justin.
And my name is Emre. Today, we're going to be looking at comments for the question, what is just a placebo effect but most people don't realize? From the subreddit AskReddit.
The original Febreeze was unscented, but nobody
What?
believed it worked, so they had to add scent to it.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't need these extra additives, okay? If it's working in the lab or whatever they're researching this thing, it's gonna work. Why do you need to
Right,
smell
so
lemons?
it's a placebo effect that the added scent makes it work better because it actually has absolutely nothing to do with the effectiveness of the odor killer.
Vicks Vapor Rub doesn't actually do anything for your sinuses. It's a placebo effect. It does, however, help reduce migraine pain and to reduce swelling. That's actually what is originally marketed for migraines.
Oh my God, I had now just thought of a placebo effect. My grandmother would tell me that if I had a cold, that I should put Vicks Vapor Rub on my feet and then put my socks on, and that I would wake up without a cold. And like a lot of the time, I would always wake up feeling so much better. But
Oh
now
my
I'm just like,
god.
That was fake. That's a placebo effect." But just because my grandma told me, it made me think it was the truth.
Placebo is real. It is real. It works.
Thinking that something will really work actually makes it work in some way. I once spoke to a guy involved in developing the first ATM cash machines. Early trials showed that users thought that the dispensing of cash happened too fast and didn't trust that it had correctly debited their account for the right amount. So they inserted a wait cycle to make it appear that the cash machine was counting the cash. That wait cycle is still there today in most machines.
No way. Yo, people had some
So
trust issues, really.
that wait period makes people think that there's like a quality control, and it made people stop complaining.
That's crazy. Like, wouldn't you want it to be fast? I can't believe some of the ATMs still have that, though. That's pretty interesting. Likes on social media posts.
When you post that picture and you think that you're way more handsome because you have like a million likes on it or something,
Yeah, it's just like fake love, you know what I mean?
man, it's like drugs for a lot of people. It's
It's
addicting to get
addicting.
those likes.
You see one like and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, like, let's get some more. And when you don't, you're like sad.
Airport security. Homeland Security's own inspectors were able to get illegal items through TSA checkpoints 70% of the time.
I knew those were bull.
Oh,
Those little doorways that you walk through, they
yeah.
only sense metal and also like the belt that moves your items through that little
Right.
thing. They only detect metal. So like if there's metal, it's gonna show up on the other side as an X-ray of like a gun or a knife or whatever.
Are you
But
telling me that I didn't need to put that weed up my butt?
yes, it also is a placebo because like it seems intimidating. You know what I mean? Like people are looking at you, they're watching you going through this stuff. You're like taking out your shoes and stuff. Like
I
you
feel
feel
like,
kind of
yeah, and
vulnerable.
also mainly I feel like what they're looking for is people who are looking nervous also.
Right. Blowing in a Nintendo 8-bit cartridge to get that
Ooh.
to work.
What? You're telling me that like taking the dust out of there by blowing on it isn't gonna help it?
That's what I'm saying. But like at the same time, like how much dust is actually in there?
My favorite system of all time, the N64. How many times I've freaking blown on those damn cartridges to get that to work better?
I don't want to agree with this one. I think I'll just
I
say
don't want to agree
that.
because that'll put a dent in my childhood and I can't take it.
Right, exactly. Let's move on.
When cake mixes first came out, you only had to add water to them, but too many housewives felt like that was cheating and wouldn't buy cake mixes. So the cake mix companies added another step, the eggs. It
Here we
worked.
go.
Apparently, cracking and adding of eggs to the batter was enough to make it feel more, quote, homemade, and cake mixes became extremely popular. They're like, you're telling me I don't have to sit there for like 3 hours and make a freaking cake from scratch? That's amazing. The difference between adding water and adding water and one egg is so minute, but apparently enough to make cake mixes sell that much more is mind blowing to me. All right, this next comment is two parts here. The first one says, "You're not acting like an insane person because you ate sugar." Yep, even for kids. They aren't acting wild because they ate sugar. They're acting wild because A, you told them that's what happens when they eat sugar, or B, most of the time they have an opportunity to eat a bunch of sugar. It's while doing something fun and exciting, like a birthday party or trick or treating.
But sugar does have an effect on your body with dopamine.
It does, but I think that it doesn't have such an effect where like the kids will be bouncing off the walls. I feel like it's like more
Right.
like the energy that's in the room. At a birthday party, kids are already excited, and there's candy
Right.
at a birthday
Right.
party, and both of those things have an effect on how the kids are acting pretty much. It's not just the
Yeah.
sugar by itself. Like if you just were giving a kid a sugar after like a boring dinner, they're not going to be bouncing off the walls like they will on Halloween while they're dressed
Right.
up
Right.
and they're walking around the neighborhood knocking on doors and eating candy and everything's excited and they're like woo.
Bubbles. People associated bubbles with cleanliness, so a lot of body washes and cleaning products will produce suds. I had a colleague tell me that her homemade body washes weren't selling until she started making them foamy. In reality, bubbles don't do.
Ooh, no way, that's
Yeah,
not
dude.
real.
No, no, it's not.
I thought all soap like just that was like a
No.
byproduct of the soap. I don't know if
No,
I
no, no,
necessarily,
it's
I guess I
not.
do associate them with cleanliness, but just because like they all soaps I've ever used have had bubbles.
The natural bars I get, they do not produce foam, but I feel great
Hmm.
afterwards.
When I was at your house, I used this soap, right?
Well, I'm not sure. It was a bar of soap. I had to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you did. But you were clean. Were you not after?
I mean, it felt great. I was thinking of how really good it smelt and everything. Thing is, I didn't even notice that there was no foam. That's how good it was, I guess.
Right.
Turkey doesn't have enough tryptophan to make you sleepy. You're most likely sleepy because you ate too much and your body's in rest and digest mode. Edit to add, it's a placebo when you eat a meal that includes turkey and say you're tired, but eat a meal of the same calories and conditions with chicken instead and you don't feel tired. It's conditioned into American culture because of overeating at American Thanksgiving. The overeating and stuff is just like something that's built in. Like people think they have to overeat on Thanksgiving.
They do. They do. Yep.
That is like a really messed up like thing if you really think about it. Thanksgiving in general is a weird holiday.
That's why people feel tired. They eat so much. They're like, oh, my whole family's here. Eat, eat, eat. Drink,
Right.
drink,
They're
drink. And
eating
then they're like,
so much
oh,
carbs. People are pretty much eating freaking 3, 4 dinners worth in one meal. That's
right.
crazy.
Itching. All it does is distract your brain from the actual pain by adding a different pain.
Okay, but it feels so good.
Oh, it feels great. No, I'm not saying anything about that.
If that is a placebo effect, that is the best one I've ever experienced. I love the sensation of relieving an itch. Say I have an itch on my arm.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna distract the pain of the feeling of having an itch with the pain of scratching it.
Right.
After I scratch it, the itch feels like it goes away,
Right.
and then it doesn't come back. So is it not really working?
Um,
Or does that just go back to the fact that like placebo effects are actually real?
I think it's that because like it is like you itched it, you're like, okay, I did it, I itched it, it should go away, and then it just goes away. Guarantee you, if you do pay attention to after just having a regular itch, and you just pay attention to that specific
I'm
spot.
getting itchy.
I know, me too, me too. I'm literally
I'm
itching
literally
myself
getting
right
itchy
now.
right now. It's so funny. I'm literally itching my head. I'm like, oh my god.
I'm itching my shoulder, bro. This is so
It's so
crazy.
funny. Yo, if any of you are listening to this and also getting itchy in this moment, please let us know.
The keep my data private button on websites. All right, let's talk about something that does work, VPN. And this video is sponsored. No, I'm kidding. But
Yeah.
VPNs and then some certain browsers like DuckDuckGo, they do encrypt your data so that your providers cannot follow you or track your data usage. And also they do change your IP address as well, so they can't connect it back to the IP address that you originally have. So those things work. But
Right.
Google, when you press that button that says keep my data private on
Oh
Google,
no, 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 no.
that's doing nothing.
That button is just there to make you feel better.
Again, it's all a placebo.
There's all those user agreements that everyone just agrees to and skips over. Like everything that you think that you didn't agree to, you already have before you even like download it.
Exactly.
Especially like
NordVPN.
when they're like, "Oh, this uses cookies, except."
Right. Yes. Cookies. Yeah. They come with
Yeah,
like
man.
thousands of trackers, man.
You probably have so many cookie jars full, like
Oh, yep. And you ain't eating any of them.
no, 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 but somebody is.
That's all we have for today. Thank you for joining us. Catch us every Tuesday and Thursday for a new conversation.